What's up, everybody? I'm Kyle Carlson, and this is the Rollback BMX Podcast, the #1 BMX podcast in the universe, according to me. This week's guest is none other than Dennis Enarson. Dennis Enarson is not just one of the best BMX riders today, he's one of the best to ever do it. I've known Dennis since he was 13 years old, and since the first time I saw him ride, I knew he had something special. It's been incredible to watch everything he's accomplished in the BMX world, but I can't say I was surprised. We talk about Dennis initially switching from BMX racing to freestyle, what's going on with Market, his upcoming Demolition video part, and much more. So without further ado, here is the Rollback BMX Podcast with Dennis Enarson. Say that all again, we're recording now.
Now that we're recording, I'm nervous.
Should be.
All right, we're here in San Diego, the Dennis Enarson Podcast. I'm going to be interviewing a cool person every week, and this week we have Kyle Carlson. How you doing, Kyle?
I am so drunk.
We are going to be asking this drunk guy a lot of questions. He's from Vital BMX. He does a lot for the scene. One of the probably does the best job of covering all the events throughout the summertime. In the winter, he kind of disappears though, and
Hibernation,
Go to a OB, cave and drinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've known this guy for a long time, since I was like 14 and he was probably 16.
I don't need to talk. You can have it.
I'm just going to keep going. This is actually Kyle Carlson's interview with me. But
I like all the compliments, so please continue.
Nobody ever asks this guy any questions. He's always the one asking, how do you like the course? How's this a little different from the other events you do? And how do you like France?
Those are really good questions, though.
They are good questions.
I can imagine like young children sitting at home being like, damn, I wonder what Dennis thinks of France.
Interview with Dennis? Skip.
Yeah, well, now that you lost all your credibility, like there's no way I'm not going to ride this contest. Contest comes up. Where's Dennis?
Yeah.
He's not going to ride the contest.
Yeah, I watched the interview when I got home. The last quote was like, are you going to ride? Yeah, I'm going to roll around at least, hang out. Didn't ride at all. I rode street.
I mean, fair is fair. You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do. I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of a bunch of French fans that were, every single person's like, I can't wait to watch you do big gaps and kill it. We love you. I was like, I could barely jump this box jump right now. There's 50 people in my way and I haven't practiced at all. They're about to call my name. I got scared and was like, no, you know what? I'm going to ride one of these Feezes when I feel good. And I'm going to go to Canada and get some practice. And Norwegian Airlines isn't losing my damn bike this time.
You should fly in United.
United.
With me.
With me?
Yeah, fly with me, man. I have way better status than you. You get hooked up when you fly with me.
You do. Carlson's taught me a lot about flying. You got to collect miles and get upgraded.
Yeah. Yeah, don't ride in the back like a sucker.
Yeah.
Like I can afford to do, but I don't because I'm irresponsible.
Kyle's literally sitting, this is not a joke, he's sitting first class. I'm in the very back of the plane, middle seat. I don't even fit.
No, this was the best. When we were flying back from Australia, I was in first class, and in the back was you, Scotty Kramer, Robbo, like a who's who of who matters in BMX, and I was in first class, like all alone, just like a prick.
Yeah, you turn your brain on and you're smart.
I mean, it shouldn't be that way. But I'll take it.
Yeah, it is. He's smart.
People always ask me, they're like, oh, damn, man, you must be making a ton of money. You're always flying in first class. And I'm like, I make so much less money than all of you.
Like I said, you're just smart.
Yeah,
you're traveling smart, not dumb. I travel a lot and sit in middle seat because I don't check my seats and show up to LAX late.
Yeah, but that's good, though. I deal with a lot of anxiety. Like, when I'm leading up to a trip, I'll be looking at my seat every single day. Like, if there's a seat next to me fills up, I move my seat, and it's just like a stressful thing where I kind of wish I could just let it go and be like, I'm going to show up and I'm going to get there.
Yeah, I've done so much fucked up traveling since I started this. I just like kind of used to it. Now I'm like older and my body gets a little more sore, so it's a little harder. But dude, I've done middle seat to Australia, middle seat to Europe a bunch of times. Like, it's the worst when you look at you get your boarding pass and it's E. You're like, that is not aisle or window. E's always in the middle of the plane. Shit.
the middle of the middle.
Of the middle.
Middle of the middle. See, you should be doing better though, because you've been on Nike for so long, and Losi's always been there, and Losi.
No, Losi has. I do have good miles and everything. Anytime Losi flies me, I got a window seat. It's just when I do these like events or whatever with different people who think I'm gonna smart enough to change my seat.
He'll do it on his own. You prefer the window seat? What about when you got to
Honestly,
piss?
I do prefer the window seat, but yeah, that sucks. Now I feel like I drink a lot more water than I used to, Because I used to be able just to do window and crash out the whole flight. Now I have to piss like every three hours, you know, at least like every hour, every 3 hours.
When I'm
so I think I like the aisle better now.
When I'm not in first class on the long ones, I do the aisle of the middle row, because there's like a 90% chance nobody's ever going to crawl over you, and you can get out without crawling over people.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? Like, even if you're on the aisle, like on one of the side rows, the guys in the window in the middle seat are going to crawl over you if they have to piss. If you're in the aisle of the middle, like that's the winner.
Airplane talk.
Yeah, no, this is like it's a douchey thing to say because people say it a lot and it's silly, but first world problems.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy, I sure do hate this middle seat as we're getting paid to fly to Australia.
That's why I'm not getting paid to fly there.
You're getting paid more than I am.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
What, we can actually start talking about questions now and stuff.
Okay. You want me to ask you more questions?
No, I'll ask you some. How are you?
Good. Been home for a few days. Was in Australia, then home for a week or like 5 days, and then went to France for the fees, and then home for a few days, did the Chase Born and Raised, and now it's Tuesday, a new week.
What a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful Tuesday.
What's up with your back? You've had a bad back for, 3 or 4 years now?
Since I was 17 was the first time.
How old are you now?
27. So 10 years. I've had like back issues I've learned how to deal with and had to focus a lot of time in. But yeah, it's just been... I think a lot of bike riders get it. I think I would have got it regardless because both my parents have had surgeries on their backs, but they come from, you know, the 80s and 90s when you hurt your back, people would just say, just lay there and rest.
Yep.
And, you know, what that means to a younger person is usually, okay, well, I'll just drink and chill with my friends and wait till this back heals. And that's the worst thing you can do. So both my parents didn't really know how to fix their back, and they both have fused disc. So I think it's just kind of
fused,
hereditary.
like they got surgery done and fused them, or like it happened naturally? Because I've heard of it happening naturally.
No, they both have had surgery to fix because they just couldn't deal with the pain. Like they were just on pain pills and trying to work their jobs and support me and my brother, and they just both ended up doing surgery through their insurance they had. So I think I was just kind of genetically prone to have a bad back, and I chose BMX as my passion and, you know, my hobby I've always loved, which is like probably one of the worst things on your back because it's just, I mean, it depends on, a lot of people don't have bad backs at all, but the style of riding I like, and I'm tall.
I was going to say,
all the ingredients
being as tall as you are and like riding with fucking like 6-inch bars most of your life, probably up until 3 or 4 years ago, like just that reach and that pull, like. Yeah,
my bike is kind of adapted into like standing as straight up as I can, which I like. That helps my back a lot.
Bars back a little bit.
Like, yeah, just kind of so I'm like almost just like standing up, not crouched over at all. I like that crouched over steez, but I can't have my bike set up like that.
How tall are your bars? You do 9.5?
9.5, yeah.
Yeah.
9.25, 9.5, go back and forth.
What does your bar come in multiple sizes?
Yeah, 9.25 and 9.5.
Oh, so like just a 1/4 inch difference.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Those are pretty popular. I see those a lot.
It's because the crossbar sticker's sweet.
Is it like the...
My buddy did the art for it.
Is it the Forerunner or whatever?
It's like got the rig. It's all like kind of from the market video.
Oh,
like it's all themed out, like bikes flying off the rack. It's really cool. I think that's why it's just a little different. Kids like it.
That's funny with bike parts these days that everything's kind of the same, to where it's like, why'd you get those bars? This sticker is awesome.
That's what I thought. That's literally what I thought. I was like, everyone's got the same bar. There's probably a few other bars with the same dimension, probably 10. But I was like, I'm gonna put a little art on there and make them cool.
Yeah.
I like
should have gone with jet fuel.
Jet fuel.
So with your back, I remember a couple years ago you were in Texas and it got real bad.
That was probably the worst my back's ever got. I went to a Texas Toast, and
that's when you guys took the trip down there, right? And it was
I flew. Sorry, Reed. I flew, and my mom dropped me off at the airport, and I was getting my bags out of her car, and my back just gave out on me, like
from getting bags out of the car,
like it always does. It's never just from getting bags out of the car. It's from constantly riding for 3 weeks before, not stretching, and probably partying way more than I should have.
27 years of kicking your own body's ass.
Exactly. Yeah. I was way younger at the time. I was probably 21, 22. But it just bugged out on me, and I flew all the way there, just like, it's killing me. And it was the year we were premiering the market video. So it was the last Texas Toast. And so right when I showed up to Austin, it was like all 10 of us, you know, a big old crew, all the riders, the whole crew, everyone's friends and family, like all at the house, kind of like it was like a party week.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any time to like take care of myself. And I hit up Chase. I was like, do you got any like chiropractors or anything I could? At the time, I really didn't know how to fix my back. I knew a few stretches. That's it. And he's like, yeah, I got this doctor. And I mean, the doctor might be good, but he sends me to this Texas dude. I think he had a cowboy hat on. And he's like, I had no clue what a steroid patch was. He's like, try this. It'll heal you up. And I was like, all right. Like, I didn't ask any questions. I was just like, this guy says it's going to feel better. And he's like, it's really going to feel better. It was a steroid patch.
That's what you do when you go to the doctor. They say, do this, and you don't ask questions. That's why they go to school for all this time, and we're the suckers that pay.
Yeah.
So when somebody says, put this on, you put it on.
Yeah, and I put it on, and because you don't get an injection or anything, so I was like, it's not going to work. It was just like this big, like, sticky pad he put on my lower back, and the next day I woke up with no back pain, and I was like, I'm fixed. I thought I was fixed. I rode Texas Toast after not riding like the whole few days before. I didn't even practice. Rode hard because I felt good, like landing flat, doing a bunch of stuff to flat, and it still felt good. And then we did that whole week, premiered the video, just like nonstop. Or no, that was the year after we premiered the video. So it was Nora Cup, and everyone was out there to celebrate the Market Video 1 Nora Cup. So it was just like we had everyone there partying, just celebrating.
I was there.
Kyle was there.
Most importantly.
And my back was fine. I ended up doing good in the contest. And
did you win?
I did, because of that steroid patch. I wasn't even going to ride. So I shouldn't have rode, though. This is the thing. Like, that's what I'm saying. I was like riding super hard. Like, I went from like, damn, I can't even ride, you guys. Like, I rode off the contest to like, dude, I can ride. Like, went like 110%. Ended up doing good in the contest. I didn't fly home. Me, Christian, and Nathan Williams, after that whole wild weekend of the steroid patch, riding Texas Toast, the Nora Cup thing, we road tripped home to film I was working on my Haro, the last Haro web video I put out, like the full, like part one.
The video part, yeah.
The video part one, SDV2 edit a couple years ago. And so we road tripped home, and then we were all the way, it was like day 3 of the trip, and we were in Phoenix, and my back still felt completely fine. Like, I think the steroid patch was still like kicked in or something. And I went to do a wall ride 180 in Phoenix. We were still going to stay for like another day. And I slipped off and barely even fell. I just stepped off my bike, and I couldn't even stand back up. I was stuck on the ground, and Nathan and Christian just had to like wait for me forever to get better. And I'm just laying on the ground, like just locked up. My back's gone out a bunch of times, but I could get up and like walk and stuff. But this time I was just stuck on the ground. Like, I was like, dude, this is crazy. Helpless. Like,
if the house was on fire, you would have burned alive.
Yeah. So they helped me back up into the car, and I like kind of just, I was like, you guys, we got to go home. I'm sorry. And they were totally cool with it, because we'd been on a long trip anyways. And obviously, like, if Nathan or Christian got hurt, I'd be like, let's go. Like, you help your friends out like that. And so we went back to, I think it was like Malouf's house or something. I jumped in the pool to try and loosen up. Like, nothing was working. Just drove home, got stuck at, this is a funny story too. My back is just killing me, the worst it's ever been. We're driving back to California, and we had some stuff in the car that we shouldn't have had. And we got stopped by Border Patrol, and like an hour away from the house. And Border Patrol, they're looking for Mexicans, that's, so we're like, oh, they're cool. Like, they're looking for people who hop the border and come through or whatever.
Or you roll up with a truck and one's hiding under the seat, and you're bringing him in illegally, and he's not going to pay taxes. That's what they're looking for. So we didn't think like anything of it. We're going to be fine. And Christian may or may not have just smoked a joint. So the car completely reeked. And the Border Patrol, they were just some assholes, and they picked us out of our car, and I couldn't even get out of the car, and they thought I was lying. And they're like, get out of the car. It was freezing cold, and I like barely could even move. And they kept us there for so long, like searching the car. Found some stuff. We got in trouble. I had to sit there for even longer. And it was just a nightmare. The worst my back's ever been. We finally get home. And the next day I slept and woke up, and I was just completely crooked. Like, couldn't barely move. It took like 3 months to finally, like, I was just going to the chiropractor, doing all this crazy stuff. And that was a huge turning point in my life, though. Did you not ride for 3 months?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
And then it slowly, like, back injuries are weird because you can start riding again, but like, I was so timid. After that's when I would go on like Nike trips, and I felt like, what am I doing here? Like, I can only ride spots into banks. I couldn't even like hit if a rail was bigger than 10 stairs and I hit like that impact, which is nothing. Like right now, like that's like, dude, 10 stair rail that doesn't even feel like impact now. But back then,
I'm going to try to land those manual.
It's not that big of an impact, but I couldn't jump down a 10 stair. I couldn't grind a rail bigger than 10. Like I could ride skate parks. That felt fine. Like riding tranny and stuff. And that's pretty much all I did. I was literally like, I'm done riding street and landing flat. That's how I felt at that point in my life. It was a huge, huge turning point in my life.
But that's kind of what kicked you to get into eating healthier.
100%.
Talk a little bit about that, because that's kind of a big change in your life somewhat recently, and you seem to show results from it.
Yeah.
What all did you cut out and why? How'd you get the information to...
Through pretty much every time my back is hurt, I just do research and talk to friends I know that have information on it and just listen, because the only thing I could do is keep trying, you know, like, because I've even had thoughts like, man, I don't know if I can keep riding like this. Like, you know, I'm going to have to just ride skate parks and just tone it down. It's like I've seen a lot of people do before. Like, what happened? How come you don't film anymore? Whatever. It's like, oh, my back's just killing me.
Well, even like,
and I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to there's ways I can get better. I know it. Like, I'm not doing surgery and I'm not going to quit. And so I just like kept looking into how to live, like how to you have to fix yourself. You can't just lay around and do anything. So the first thing I was like, eat better. That helps, like everything. So just got focused on that and figured out like all the best stuff to eat for yourself. And
so what did you cut out and what did you add to your diet?
I ate like shit before. Like I lived off, like growing up, I would just live like on such a small budget. I would just buy burritos and Jack in the Box and like just stayed alive, you know, like and you don't think anything of it when you're younger, like until probably I changed my whole diet up around like 2021 when this whole, I was just sick of going through this string of injuries, and my femur thing too helped a lot because I broke my femur and had like 4 months off. So I went like completely sober and didn't do anything. And then that's when I switched my diet and all I did was research like how can I heal the fastest. And I took that over to like these back injuries too. And then the back injuries, I learned more and more and more. So just cut out all the bullshit food, like no processed food, and just looked up all the food that like decreases inflammation, so anti-inflammatory foods, and just I'll still eat crappy every once in a while, but it feels just so much better just eating the way I do now. And a lot of people do think it's weird, like I drink smoothies every morning and, you know, don't even like eat solid foods in the morning. Just I have my little diets are different for everybody, but I've slowly figured out this little system of eating that works good for me.
Do you bring a blender on the road and stuff?
No, but I really want to, because that's one of the hardest things about traveling is like waking up, like if I'm on a trip in Europe or something, like, hey, let's go get breakfast. Okay. They take you to like a pastry shop and people just drink a coffee, smoke a cigarette and have a croissant. You're like, dude.
Or like, even in America, a shitload of donuts and pancakes and stuff. Like,
it's easier in America though, because I can just look on my phone and do my own thing. But like, I don't buy international phone plans at all. I like just going on the road and not
being off the grid.
Yeah, being off the grid. So when I go like on those trips, that's like one thing though I do want to get those international phone plans for, because phone life makes it so much easier to keep eating good.
The plan I have, I think I pay $100 a month for, and it's unlimited everywhere.
That's nice.
You should get exactly what I have.
I might do that.
I got it. Daniel Dares has it, and he travels like crazy.
I used to not travel internationally as much in those last couple summers with the Vans contest and everything. It's like BMX is so international.
That's probably
now.
Close to what you pay right now for what you have. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's when I got this. I was paying like the same amount, maybe $10 less for every time I went on the road. I had to spend an extra $200 or something, you know?
Yeah.
By on the road, I mean overseas. But you should get exactly what I have.
Down.
This is a random T-Mobile plug. It's not
T-Mobile. This podcast is brought to you by T-Mobile.
This podcast is, well, they actually kind of have saved my ass on numerous occasions, so I will give
United and T-Mobile.
United and T-Mobile. They both make my life easier, and I give both of them money. So your routine, switched up the diet, stretches.
Stretching was first.
Okay.
I had an ex-girlfriend who was like into Pilates and all that, so she helped me kind of move into like, if you stretch, your body will feel better, which duh. But when you're young, I didn't know that.
So you took that lesson and then dumped her?
Took that lesson. No, she was great.
She was cool.
Yeah.
God rest her soul.
Shut the fuck up. No. So she helped me out with that in the eating good. And then later after, learning the stretching, got yoga DVDs. My dad actually, yoga saved his life. He completely got off pain pills and he's so healthy now just through doing yoga. That was his thing. All he needed was yoga. He eats good now too and everything, but like yoga helped him so much.
It's so crazy seeing your dad today versus like 10 years ago. He's a completely different person.
His back feels good.
It's insane.
Finally,
it's insane.
He was a bad back for so long.
He was an old man like when I met him, and he's not an old man now.
No, he's gone reverse in age, that's for sure. Same with my mom too. They're just on such an awesome health kick. And we all kind of started doing it at the same time, which is sweet, like having support from each other.
So you stretch, diet,
and then the last thing, I was doing really good for a long time. I started being able to ride street again. Like I had to seriously take like a year and a half off. Like it was sucked because I love streets so much, and it was just something I had to be like, I'm just riding skate parks now, which I love skate parks too, but just that's a huge part of my riding. You're from an era
where you ride everything.
I just love being out with my friends filming too, and it's like I can't go out and do that if I'm not riding street because I get like, damn, I want to do something and then hurt myself. So it's just like I had to just push that away. Like I'm just riding park now. Like I gotta say I can't hang out with this group of people I hang out with all the time. So that sucked. But everything started coming back together. Started feeling really good. And then, like a year went on and then the back problem started coming back. And at the time I had Diogo Canina staying with me. Like right when I moved to my new house, he moved to San Diego and I was like, yeah, come live with me. And so we were living together for like a year, and he noticed how bad my back was because I won't really tell too many people it. I was trying to just figure it out on my own. And he's all into working out because he had a really, really bad back too, ironically.
It's kind of why he retired.
That's why he retired.
Yeah.
But he didn't know how to fix it. And he finally, after he lost all his sponsors from not riding for so long, like he was a badass. But
people don't even know.
People don't even know. He was just moving up into his prime, doing better and better and better. But the back thing, he couldn't even ride skate parks. His was so bad and he didn't know how to fix it. Doctors didn't know shit. And he started working out and he's almost back to 100% health now. And so he got me into all these back workouts and stuff. And at first I was like, dude, this is stupid. Like it's not even helping. I'm just getting super sore. And like, as I consistently did it for like a month or two, I was like, the back pain was going away. I was able to land harder and not notice anything. And, then I just kept focusing on doing that with the eating good and stretching. And now I have this little recipe where I can fly overseas and my back barely bugs me anymore. Right now it's bugging me, but
I mean, you're going to have a tweak once in a while.
Exactly. It's not my lower back, which used to bug me. It's my mid back. And I think that's just from just being on the road so much right now. Like it's only going to take me off my bike for a day or two and I'll feel fine. My lower back thing would be like, that shit went out. It was bad.
So you pretty much feel like you beat the back issue.
I think so.
That's awesome.
I mean, like you said, you're going to get little tweaks every once in a while, but every time this happens, I learn more and more about it. So there's just so much to learn.
I think it was Hannibal Buress. You know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Stand-up comedian, black dude. I'm sure you've seen him. He's fucking hilarious. He's awesome. But he had a joke in one of his stand-ups where he was talking about hurting his back, like getting out of a taxi or something. And was talking about how it's so shitty that your back is like 90% of your body. He's like, you hurt your back, like you just literally can't move.
No,
like,
you can't.
It was like half the way he presented it was funny, and the way I'm presenting it is terrible. but it's true. It's like
true.
you hurt
One
your
time
back.
I was washing my hair in the shower back when I lived in La Mesa, and just my back went out washing my hair, and I fell to the ground and had to like put a towel around me and like crawl up into my room. And it was before I knew anything. I was like probably like 19.
Yeah.
Just took muscle relaxers I had and just like morphed out until, I just slept for like 12 hours.
One of those where you
could
just
barely move the next day too. It was just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think BMX just kind of brought the injuries out quicker because like I said, my mom and dad both have fused discs in their back. I think it was coming regardless. And I'm kind of stoked that it all happened when I was young. And like with BMX, it's kind of cool because a lot of people don't even know I've had so many injuries because it's BMX. You can work super hard and put a bunch of stuff out and just kind of like, I don't openly talk about my injuries, especially when they were happening. At one point there was like 2.5 years of just constant injuries. And I would just, when I was healthy, put a bunch of stuff out. And when, thankfully it's like, it's not like I wasn't doing wood floors like my dad, where it's like, you have to keep working. It was like, okay, now I have an injury, so I can just kind of hide back, and people in BMX know what you do. They don't know when you're not doing stuff. So as long as you put enough stuff out to look like, you're always fine. But I was hurt for a long time.
It's a game of strategy.
It is. Yeah. There was like 2.5 years there where a lot of people didn't even know how bad it was with injuries. And it was aside from my back, dude. One time, what was wrong with me? I broke my wrist at a Brazil X Games. Like, that was like right after I finally healed up from my femur. I got back to like 100%, felt great. Slammed at the Brazil X Games, broke the shit out of my wrist. Like, had to go to the hospital with Diogo. Thankfully, he was there. And like, no one spoke English. I had to break my wrist back. Ooh. Got surgery when I got home. And then 2 weeks later, I was skating my little garage mini ramp by myself and slammed. And instead of putting my wrist out, I pulled it back and broke my collarbone. And so I went in to get surgery after just having surgery on my wrist. Like, the doctor's like, what is wrong with you? And then that both healed up. And then snowboarding, I separated my shoulder like Probably like a month or two later. Like I just kept, just boom, boom, boom. And I was just like, dude, what is wrong with me?
So basically you should only ride BMX because you try these other sports and you get worked.
Oh, dude, I get worked on a BMX too, though. It's just
slightly less.
The wrist was from bikes, then skating, and then I separated my shoulder riding, and then it was just all a bunch of stuff. But I kept it all quiet and just, like I said, it was cool with BMX. I've been able to learn how to heal too. Like it wasn't like my dad, he was working hard with floors and couldn't do anything because there's no time to, when you're supporting a family, he's out there on his knees fucking sanding floors with just taking pills to get through it, and just gets worse and worse.
It's crazy, man. The more you learn, it's like this crazy pain pill problem, especially in the United States. Like it makes so much sense.
So bad.
People are just kind of slaves to what they have to do. And I mean, you have to support your family and you have to go to work, and these doctors just hand them out and stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just like it's a crazy thing going on.
No, I could easily get a prescription to all those savage pain pills, just be like, my back hurts. Okay, here, boom, here's medical heroin. Take this, and you won't feel the pain anymore. But all that does is it's the worst thing to do. It just makes your back hurt worse and worse.
Yeah, and steroid patches, those are cool too.
I learned that lesson, dude. Would have been better off just to not ride the contest and let my back heal normal. Got home and felt good.
I mean, that just kind of...
I was young and the doctor gave it to me. That's,
Well, I mean, the best advice somebody can give you is to really just listen to your body. And,
exactly.
And something like that makes your body lie to you.
Yeah. My mom's the best at it. Anytime I'm hurt, she's like, don't go on that trip. Because she knows me, because I sometimes I put too much on my plate. And that's why these injuries kept happening in that first place at that one time in my life where I was just kind of getting asked to do so much stuff. It was right when I got put on the BMX train, if you will, where you're just constantly getting hit up to do stuff, and I would heal, go on a trip, get hurt. It was just
That's what's hard about the BMX life is, and I experience it, and I'm sure you do as well, where you have no control over the schedule that's handed to you. There's no discussion. If there's events, there's trips and stuff, you're working with so many people to where there's times when there's 2 months when I'm at home, and there's times when I'm canceling trips because things are overlapping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you just... Rooftop told me one day, he's like, enjoy it, because one day they stopped asking you to go on these trips. One day the phone calls and texts stopped coming, so it's damn, you're very right.
Yeah, well, that hasn't happened yet, has it?
No, it's just getting crazier and crazier, thankfully. Seriously, I can't believe I'm 27 right now. I've been pro for 10, 11 years. And
what was your first?
This is one of the crazier summers of my life.
What was your first paying sponsor? Was it Volume?
Demolition and Nike was the same time.
And that was 15, 16?
It was 16.
So
Demolition,
technically
Nike.
11 years.
16 going into 17, like that. So.
Okay. And then Haro, you're 17, 18?
Haro was probably next. Haro and Rockstar were about the same time. That was 17, 18.
That's pretty cool that you've been with most of these brands for a really long time.
Yeah. The only sponsor I've ever left was Volume. I wrote for Volume and Demolition. It was kind of a partnership thing, because those are my first real sponsors. And the Haro offer came up, and I had to call Castillo.
Well, and I'm sure Castillo respected it.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
Oh, you're leaving? Maybe we can make an offer. What are they offering?
I don't want to say.
Okay, well, no, I told him, and he's like, well, hopefully we can keep you on Demolition. I was like, yeah, of course.
That's awesome.
He was just super cool with it. Yep, just go do that. You're gonna enjoy it. And 10 years later,
still on Demolition.
Still on Demolition.
Yeah,
not on Volume.
Haven't gone back yet.
Pretty much the same thing though. Volume Demolition is ran by all the same people, so it's I still with that family. You
got to stay with that family, man. You gotta. What's the saying? Dance with the one that brought you. They kind of believed in you when people didn't.
I got a Demolition tattoo.
Do you really?
Yeah.
What is it?
Just the Demolition logo.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Where at?
Right here on my knee.
Oh.
So I'm stuck. Even if Castillo fucks me over, I'm on Demolition for life.
Wasn't that
He will never fuck me over, though.
Doesn't Tammy have a federal tattoo? I love Tammy, but
me too.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But
I don't condone logo tattoos, but that one just kind of like a family,
Were you on a trip or something?
No, I just got it. Market and Demolition, we're those are the ones. It's just it's like a family more than a sponsor.
Yeah. What's up with Market?
Market? I feel like I talk about this every time I do an interview.
Yeah,
and
but
it always does change.
But I think we always kind of wait for the next move, and then it just kind of seems like it's silent. But then you go to the park, and kids are still repping it hard. There's still stickers everywhere. And
yeah, I know. That's a hard thing. Man, we did it. we were just doing so much for so long, and I had like a crew around me helping me, and we were really like it was like a running system, you know, with what we were doing, and it was just kind of like all at once. The dude I pretty much was doing everything. It was like me, my dad, and my best friend Josh, and we were kind of like a little team aside from the crew and the, you know, Christian. Like there was like this little 3-man.
As far as creating products,
there was
you guys
like,
were handling it.
Yeah, like the middle little, like the center of it all was us three. He had a baby.
Yep.
And he was with market.
He meaning Josh, not your dad.
Yeah, my dad did not have another baby. He has his tubes tied. no more little Dennis or Kenny's. Josh was just like taking percentages, whatever market made. So it was like, you know, it was a sweet little job, and he was getting by with all that. You know, we were coming up, he was doing better and better, but he had this baby, and things just changed. He started his own coffee shop and just got really busy. And, you know, I couldn't just it was like, I would either have to pay him more than market could afford to keep him around, or like, it was like, dude, just do your own thing. And
he's killing it.
And he's kicking ass.
So it's really good for him.
He lives a great life. But so I lost like my buddy who I was doing it with, and so like me and my dad doing the middle of it, like the creative, the product, and all the inside stuff of market. It was just too much. Like my dad was totally fine with his side of everything, but me with my side of everything, I was just, dude, there was days where I was just picking up boxes and counting inventory and doing website updates. And it was just like one day it hit me like, dude, I missed like 2 days of riding, because I've just been, you know, like so many days of riding were getting lost to working on market.
Yeah.
Which was sick. You know, I love the brand and everything we were doing, but there was a point where I'm like, dude, like I'm going to start getting dropped from sponsors if I keep putting all this effort into market.
Well, this is your job, and if you handle being a professional BMX rider correctly, which a lot of guys don't, it's a lot more than 40 hours a week. Mm-hmm. Every single thing you do, you know?
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. I was just like, I had to look at myself one day and be like, I love market and everything we've done, but I love this BMX life I get to live right now more. So I want to just focus on this and this side of my life. And market's still there. Like half the crew barely even rides anymore either.
Yeah.
You know, like right now, if we were to do a trip, it'd be me and Chad and Christian. And Christian he's just filming right now because he's getting off a really bad ankle break. So Rob's starting to ride again. But half the crew, like Jeff works a normal job. He's kicking ass. He's got a really cool girlfriend, and he loves his life on the East Coast.
Does he have a kid?
He doesn't have a kid, no.
Okay.
But he's got a rad life on the East Coast, and he's just doing his thing. And, you know, I've invited him on a couple trips, and he's just like, dude, like, I got to live my life right now.
Jeff's one of those guys that I'm not even sure if I ever met him, or I did briefly once or something. But being from the West Coast, I know he's kind of like a hero on the East Coast. On the West Coast, I didn't really know who he was that long, and he just kind of like made a gigantic impact in a couple years, and then it's kind of like, dude, good. Some of the stuff he did.
And he's a video part writer too. He's so good at filming video parts.
His anthem section is one of the best video parts ever.
Yeah. The United parts, his market part is so good.
Do you remember the United part he had when they were filming in Hawaii?
Yep.
That part was so good.
Bros' front. That's the first United video, like the first newer United video.
Yeah, dude, that part was so good. Anyway, so Jeff's not really riding as much. Ronnie has the coffee shop.
Ronnie's complete, you know, got a kid, an awesome wife, dope business in State College. He still rides, but like that's not his focus right now. He goes to a couple contests here and there.
Yep.
And Connor works full time. He rides all the time too, but it's like he loves his life here in San Diego, working and just doing what he does. Tyler's on the recovery list right now, and Christian's kind of more focusing on professional filming.
How about Mike Jonas?
Mike Jonas would still film a part, but is
he living in NorCal?
He lives in San Francisco and has an insane. At the end of the market video, he was studying because he's always been a computer programmer.
He's always been like a genius.
He's like a genius.
Yeah,
literally like a genius. His street smarts are not genius, but like his book smarts are genius. Like he's the funniest dude. He's just like, man, he can just do whatever he wants when he goes on a computer. So he went to this crazy programming boot camp and got sent to this insane, he's like one of the main dudes at this company called Patreon. It's this big.
Oh, no way. He works for Patreon.
He works for Patreon.
I didn't know that.
And dude, he's killing it up there. So every time we go to San Francisco, we always hang out with him. He still loves riding, and he could still film a part if he wanted, because he was one of those guys who was just, he did his original stuff. No one else does it like him, and he didn't need to ride all the time. He's just good.
Yeah.
And who else are we missing that I haven't
Rob.
Rob's getting back into it. He just took some time off. I think he kind of just got burnt out with the whole BMX thing. He'd been doing it for so long, and it's not skateboarding in BMX. You have to do a lot of work to stay on it. It's not like Rob kind of has that like skater style where it's like just film these dope video parts every 2 years. And it sucks. BMX just isn't big enough to like support those kind of people, even though he's one of the best ever at doing what he does.
Well, I always respected Rob because even when there was times when he was recognized as one of the best street riders in the world, which he was, and he always did it while working a full-time job.
Yeah. There was a time though where he didn't have to work anymore, and that was sick.
Just from sponsors.
Yeah. And then DC left.
Oh, that's right.
And that kind of... And then throughout the market video, he was just riding. But then, shortly after he kind of...
But I feel like even when he was just riding, he'd be like, I'm in St. George this weekend building a house.
No,
like,
he did always
man.
have these like part-time jobs. Because Rob's so talented at everything. He's like good at... People hit him up to work like these weird things at like metal roof shingle fabricating, like some shit that like, what? You know how to do that? Like, yeah. Rob could build his own house in the forest with like a hammer.
That's all he has.
Like, he could do the whole thing.
No, he's a man's man.
Yeah, so I still like, dude, that crew is my family. But if I wanted to right now, I'd like to make another DVD with that crew. It's impossible. It'd be like pulling teeth because everyone just started doing their own thing all of a sudden. Like that timing worked out perfect for Market Zero. We always wanted to film another DVD, but with that crew, it's not going to happen again.
Sounds like a really easy way to spend $100,000 right now. If you wanted to do it today.
$100,000 and pulling teeth to get these guys, like, because they work good jobs.
No,
and everyone,
they do.
They all love everyone has good lives. No one, like after Market Zero was like, oh, I'm depressed or whatever. It was like more like, all right, let's do more cool shit. And everyone was just motivated and kind of spread out. And like, we're all still a family. It's just like, we're not on the road together once a month like we used to be, or twice a month. Yeah.
So back to the brand itself, would you say for the foreseeable future, it's kind of at
the
rest?
Brand itself, no. That's the thing. Like, kids love it. You still see kids repping stickers and shirts everywhere. And when's their new product coming out? And I always have to be like, dude, I'm just too busy to do that right now. But it's still there. I feel like the coals are still burning a little bit, and
But I mean, for the time being, you don't foresee making any products.
No, right now we might make some stuff, like some small runs, because me and Tyler are both making these video parts. Our like market demolition split video part things we're doing.
Yep.
So we might make like a small run of stuff just to kind of sell it, the premieres and the jams and things like that. But yeah, for right now, I'm just chilling. I would love to. It sucks not having because man, the jeans were so good when we finally got them out and selling, and just. That was another thing too. Our manufacturer that we took so long to make these jeans perfect, started fucking us over with, it's a long story, but regardless, this manufacturer we always used, like they just started being shady with us. And so we had to like restart from ground zero. And it was just like, oh my God, we finally have these perfect skinny black jeans.
The brown ones? You had the brown ones.
The brown and the blacks were made by the same people.
Were they in Mexico or were they in
Mexico.
Okay. Those were the guys that were screwing you guys over.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chad's blue jeans, he was the first jean we
Those
ever
were in
made.
America, right?
Those were in America. Yeah. And those are super dope. They were just just so expensive doing American made stuff.
Yeah.
But those guys were rad. We could have kept doing those forever. But Chad don't even wear that style of jean anymore, so we kind of would have to switch that whole thing up.
Yeah. No, it seems to me where knowing what I know, which isn't a whole lot about clothing industries and whatnot, it just seems like you need to have a shitload of money to spend, and you need to have one or two employees that are paid well, that are incredibly knowledgeable.
Exactly.
But
thankfully, dude, the crew that I had, like they were like some of my best friends in the whole damn world of BMX, but I didn't have to pay them. They were just doing that because they liked what we were doing, going on trips, and they wanted to help me. All of us, it was like all of us together creating this cool thing. And if that was a normal, how much you have to pay those badasses, especially like in that time when they were all like, everyone was like the all-stars, like Jeff and Rob, they were like, dude, I should have to be paying all these guys to come on trips with me. And they're just like so down.
Yeah. But I think it's a matter of trust when people know you and understand where you're coming from. If this somehow turned into a multi-million-dollar company, you're not going to keep not paying those guys.
Exactly. As soon as that shit would have taken off, it would have been right into those guys' pockets too. I was never trying to make a bunch of money from market. I wanted to just be able to sustain something cool give something cool to BMX. And I still do want to do that, but right now it's just not doable.
Man, you got X amount of time to be a pro rider, and you got the whole rest of your life to have a company.
Exactly. And I learned so much in those like 5 years of doing it. And it's not like I unlearned it. It's all still there. Like I know how to get it going again. I
think I like what you're saying about maybe once or twice a year we do a run of shirts.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's iconic.
And the plan was just to do one trip a year with everyone who could do it.
Yeah.
But everyone got so busy we missed last year. But the year before we did the trip where Ronnie and Jonas came out.
Yeah.
That edit we did. Christian made that
was sick.
It was sick. Yeah. It was
awesome.
like, it reminded us. I have a van still too. Like I sold the rig and got a 16 passenger van. So like we're ready to do stuff. We just got to find the time. Maybe I think this next winter I'll try and get something going again.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was like dudes come to San Diego, everybody goes to Woodward and hangs out with Ronnie or something, like just even on a smaller scale, it's cool to keep it moving.
Yeah. Like I haven't seen Jeff and Rob in like over a year. So like just getting everyone together and doing something fun more for like the kids will like it and I'll love it. Like everyone will love it.
Did that ever get weird for you as far as having sponsors? I know where you're at, people would want to pay you to wear certain shirts and you're trying to do this. Because you always wore Nike shirts in contests and whatnot, right?
I got really lucky with all of it because everyone was so down with what I was doing. Like even in my Nike contract, they wrote it out to where I can wear market jeans, and I wasn't technically allowed to wear like market shirts and stuff and photos and videos and everything, but like I was, and they were letting it slide.
Yeah.
Like people were cool enough with it. And like, dude, when I was filming for that video, the amount of trips I canceled, because we were doing other sponsored trips, like
guys that were writing you checks.
Market was number one priority, which is crazy in my head now to think about, because it is. That's what it was. It was like, if we have a market trip, I'm sorry, I'm not going on this trip. Like no matter who you are or like what you're paying me, like market is what I'm doing right now. And I just completely focused on that. And like right now, like my summer is like completely booked. If I wanted to do a trip, I would have to be like, sorry, whoever, I gotta clear this week and a half.
Do you foresee doing something like market or similar when you've hung it up, when you're kind of retired and whatnot? Is this something you want to do later on in life, or is this?
I do know whatever I do later on in life, I would, no matter what it is, I want to always be giving back to BMX. Like I would like to get market going again in the future, and I hope people are still down with it. I think they will be, especially like I love that, like getting a group of guys together and going out and filming, just get on the road and get in a van and doing that and making something cool with it. Or no matter what it is, if I open up a bar or somewhere cool to just chill and like a little whatever, I still want to like do at least like one, like an amateur contest a year. There's just no way I'm going to live the rest of my life without giving back to what's given me all this, like this first half of my life, it's just so sick.
Well, and I think it's a situation as well where you don't get as deep into this as you are without loving it.
Exactly.
You don't accidentally get this involved in something for most of your life.
No, and the people like me who have been so taken care of from BMX, we're the people that need to be the next ones to step in and take care of it.
Yeah.
Like if every rider who, got paid to ride, put a little bit into it after their career, that's how it works, like we could sustain like keeping BMX cool, and that's what I want to do when I'm not like completely swamped with trips and contests and stuff, just focus on helping the sport.
Do you foresee yourself being an active pro rider for quite a while longer?
Yeah, I think, because man, like before these last couple years, I felt so good and like finally like just wanting to travel and wanting to film parts and wanting to go to like everything I get invited to. But there was like 3 years there where I was just like, dude, I can't even do this. And I was still sustaining it. So now it's like I got like a reburst of energy. So I really want to go, I go into like my 30s, but there's a point where I don't want to be going to every contest anymore and competing with like, I don't want to be 35. I don't want to be the oldest guy at the contest, like that's cool. But there's going to be a point where I know I don't want to compete anymore. I'm just going to want to focus on filming and, doing cool things for the sport.
Cruising with the boys.
I think I'm always going to be tweak out on learning new tricks though. And like, that's how I like riding. When I go to the skate park and just have those cruising sessions with the boys, they're cool. But when I really have fun trying stuff and making sure I stay dialed, that shit's so fun for me for some reason.
So you still feel like you're learning new tricks and whatnot?
Yeah.
What's the last trick you learned? The last trick I like dialed in that I like, and I like want to find like a legit thing to do it on. It's like an over feeble. Oh, really?
So yeah, super weird. I learn weird shit all the time. I still just in contests, me and my friends always, like my non-rider friends always laugh because it just looks like I do the same shit at contest over and over again. Because like, yeah, I haven't learned a damn flip double whip. I'm still gonna flip whip because that's like a trick that I like and it feels good. So there's a lot of tricks I still do. Like I love suicide double trucks and I love all this stuff, but like I haven't learned a new like crazy box trick in a long time. But like I'm always learning random little shit. Yeah,
you haven't learned any new tricks, but I feel like your riding's kind of taken a turn where as opposed to just learning the big box trick, you're kind of doing shit both ways, switching it up, and
yeah, that's another thing that's really fun for me is like I didn't spin switch at all the first half of my career.
Yeah.
And then I started spinning switch and doing switch whips and switch bars and just switch turn downs. And like, it's just a whole, like now I can, and it kind of really works well. Those Vans contests started coming around at the same time, those bowl contests, and you have to be able to ride both ways. And like, it just worked out perfectly in my career. I feel like this contest came around right when my riding style kind of like, it was like the same, you know what I mean? Like it was all just kind of like, I ride like this and this contest came around. Sweet. Like a contest series that like suits the exact way I ride right now. Like, fuck yeah.
It's funny going to
I couldn't believe it when I heard that there was like going to be a cement skate park contest.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It's funny going to like the
I guess I'm going to have a bigger career. Got a couple more years.
Going to like the FEAS events and some of the guys that take it really seriously, there's like the genre of guys that are like, God damn it, this course all turns left. And then there's genre guys that are like, oh, fuck yeah, it turns left. I can do a bunch of alley-oops.
Yeah.
It's just funny seeing like the two different relationships and schools of thought,
Yeah.
But
I prefer a course where it's like, just, you can be real creative.
Yeah. Do everything both ways and whatnot. What's your take on the Olympics and all that? I know some people, I've been in USA cycling meetings and they're like, we need to get Dennis in the Olympics.
I mean, I've kind of talked about it with you in that last interview, but because that was the first time I went to one of the FEASes and saw everything. I think it's cool. Like I said, I can't say anything bad about it. It's amazing. It's just going to bring more. It's bringing people out of the woodworks. Like, Diogo Canina's the Brazilian coach or whatever. And I saw Alessandro Barbero. I haven't seen him in so long. Like
Tobias is doing Germany stuff.
Tobias, like all these cool dudes are getting these jobs to help BMX, and people are getting these random contracts from like little rims on Visa. Like there's so much sick stuff that's coming from it. But on the other side, it feels like BMX racing to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Where you sign up with the UCI card and it's very like organized, and that's really cool too. And like lots of like parents getting involved and going to the contest with everyone, and like there's the really cool supportive parents like Bryce Tyrone's parents, like these awesome people.
I think his dad just likes to get drunk, so he comes and hangs out.
His dad is so cool. Yeah, his dad reminds me like kind of like of my dad, who is just like, if Bryce does good, it's like sick, but he's not out there like, do a triple whip. He's just like, that's my boy out there. Like, it's just a proud dad having fun going to France.
There comes a time when it's like, dude, if your son was injured and couldn't come to this, you'd be here anyway.
Yeah, exactly. He's having a blast. And his mom's super cool too. They're just good people.
Yeah.
But then there's the other side where it's like, you see these parents that are kind of weird. Like,
totally.
My son qualified in second. That's not acceptable. You want to be qualified in first. Like, I literally heard some weird conversations with parents and kids, and it reminded me a little bit of BMX racing, and that's kind of why I quit. Just like having team managers telling me to train and blah blah blah, like people saying they're not going to ride the mini ramp contest even though they want to because their coach says it's not a good idea. Like that kind of stuff is like kind of weird to me.
I agree,
because I think BMX is what you feel like. Freestyle BMX is, I always liked it because the day I quit, I was at a Del Mar National and I hadn't been racing at all. And it was like the first main I didn't make in forever. And I was just like getting bitched at by a team manager. And I was like 12 or 13. I was like, and all my friends were going to ride street that day. And it was a national in San Diego. And I was like, if I don't go tomorrow to try and make the main again for the Sunday race, I can just hang out with all my friends and go ride street. And that's what I picked to do. And that was like one of the funnest changing days of my life. And I didn't ride street back then either. So I remember doing like an ice bit grind, like 6 inches, like, whoa, that was so sick. And the whole day before at the national, I was just like waiting in the gate, like the moto lineup thing, like all nervous, like, damn, I suck. All these kids have been like training they're all like, and we all just hit puberty and fuck, these kids are getting fast. And like, yeah, all my friends are out just riding street, like just, man,
enjoying life.
Like, you get a flat tire and it's fun because you got to figure out how to get to the bike shop. Like, just so much fun shit to do.
Did you ever see the South Park episode when all the kids are playing baseball and they're trying their hardest to lose at baseball so they don't have to go in the playoffs?
Yeah,
they all hate baseball. That's what you're telling me reminds me of. Like, oh, I got to do bad at this race so I don't have to keep racing.
That's what it was. I did bad and I was like, man, it was because I could always just not practice and make mains. That was kind of like my thing. Everyone knew I never went to the local track anymore. I got bored of it. I would just like ride nationals because it was a new tracks to ride. And that's what I liked, was just like riding new tracks and hitting different jumps and trying to hit the pro section when I was a little kid. Like, and that's what I was doing, was trying to ride freestyle on the track.
Totally.
It all clicked one day, like, dude, what am I doing?
There's an outlet for this.
Yeah, and I had my BMX bike, a dope BMX bike at the time. I was like, I don't need to race anymore. I'm selling this thing.
Were your parents bummed at all?
No, they were stoked.
Yeah.
Because they knew that I wasn't like focused like the other kids. And my parents, they were making okay money, but not enough to like, when I told them, they were like, whew, like, nice, we can just take you to the Claremont skate park. Like, this is way cheaper. And we genuinely know you like it more. Like, you've told us this. Like, we don't know why you're still racing. My mom was just like, sweet. My mom literally said I was waiting for you to ask us. Like, which is kind of, they didn't want to pressure me into doing anything. But when I remember looking at my mom and telling her, like, can we just not come back tomorrow? And she was like, said, I've been waiting for the day. Like, I knew you were going to say this to me eventually.
Your parents have always been super cool.
They're so cool.
They both really get it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I can't even define what it is, but they get it, you know?
They just always like were down with me and my brother doing what we loved because they're just really loving people too. And
were their parents all super cool?
My dad's life is all fucked up with his family situation. Okay. And my mom's parents were really, really cool.
She's from like the Midwest, right?
Yeah. She's from the Midwest, comes from an awesome family. She's from the ghetto though, like Flint, Michigan.
She's from Flint.
Yeah. She grew up with nothing.
Wow.
And just was at a bar with her friends one night and they went home. She was like 17, like super young, just finished, or no, she was probably a little older than that, like finished nursing school. And they packed all their stuff up and left the next morning and just drove the next day to Texas. And we're like, Texas sucks. And then they just drove and ended up in OB.
Oh, no shit. Like, yeah. I can just imagine, like, let's move in the morning and wake up and being all hungover. Like, never mind.
No, they did it. They did it. My mom's the only one of the whole family who left. And that was her friend. And she's out here now too. So they got out. And my dad's from Seattle. And he's just always his mom, my grandma, like met some dude and made him move to Eric, Oklahoma, which isn't even if you're from Oklahoma, you don't even know what Eric, Oklahoma is. It's like a little crossroads town. Moved out there his senior year. Just shit. Yeah, just some lame shit, like not really caring about him. And so his outlet was join the military or I don't know what he joined, like the special services or something to just get out, like get a plane ticket out.
So he was in England for a while,
yeah,
right?
He went to England. He didn't do any, like, he's such a peaceful person. He's not trying to go to war or anything. His job was to sit in a security booth and guard like the bombs areas or something like that. Like some just like chill job. He just got a plane ticket out there, made some money and then moved to San Diego.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Just to get out of that whole crazy family situation he had.
I guess it's probably one of the reasons he's such a good dad.
Yeah, I think so.
Having dealing with some shit, you know.
He knows not how to not be a shitty dad, you know, like he had gnarly parents. And my mom had really good parents, so like they have like a nice mix, you know.
Mix them together, and the kids are kind of okay.
Yeah.
What kind of changing gears? What do you think about riders posting a lot of clips on social media? We've talked about this before, and I think you have a really sound way of thinking about it.
I think it's a. I mean, I love the art of like putting together a video part, spending time on it, going to spots and having certain tricks. And it's like, it really is like a piece of art as a BMXer. Like you make this piece, your creation to give to BMX. And I think that's always going to stand. That's always one of, if not the coolest thing you can give to BMX as a rider. But on the other hand, the Instagram, the Insta satisfaction of just doing something crazy, putting it out there and having people see it, I think that's fine too in its own sense. Like it can fuck you over really bad if you're someone who just keeps posting all this crazy stuff and then, you know, you get sponsored and you make a video part and it doesn't even compare with what you're putting on Instagram. Then people are like, that's going to hurt you in the longevity because you don't really have any value to a company because you're not doing anything for them. You're just trying to come up yourself and you can look really good on Instagram and everything, but sponsors aren't going to back that, I don't think, because you need to be a team player and put in for your brand. But coming up, you know, Instagram, everyone can see it. If you want to bar catch bar down El Toro and you don't really feel like filming a full video part, that bar is probably going to be the thing that goes on Instagram anyways when you put all this time in. So it's like, it's a great way to come up.
Well, and I feel like for a lot of the guys that are searching for that next step, they do that and now we know who they are. Versus
exactly.
If he filmed a video part, I might not watch it.
Exactly.
But when somebody's like, this dude just did a bar down El Toro, I'm gonna click play.
It's just the same thing. The same conversation happened probably like 7 or 8 years ago when web videos people started doing really crazy. Because web videos was like, I can't believe he did that for a web video. It was the same thing, and people just talk so much shit on it. And now it's like, there's web parts. It's like why not go all in for a web video? More people are going to see it than if I put it in a DVD. Granted, making a whole DVD with the crew together is also one of the sickest things you can do. But it's like coming up and and sometimes people don't have a filmer to go with them to all these spots. It's like, dude, they got their buddy and a phone and they're going to do that crazy shit. When I went to Tele Pel Toro when I was like 15 or 16, I went with a Polaroid camera and Fudger's camera. Just because it was like, I'm doing it today. I'm up in LA. Like, Fudger, you around? And he came and he brought his camera.
Is that back
to shoot
when he
it.
lived up there?
I think he lived around there in like Long Beach or something.
Yep.
And then he had his girlfriend shoot a Polaroid.
How cool is that?
And that's all I have is the Polaroid from it, you know, like, and it's just what it is. Like, I mean, you're going to do something, you want to do it. That's what's sick about day and age. Like, there's so much like random days I feel good at the skate park and I wouldn't film anything, but it's like, damn, Chad over there has a nice phone. Like, you want to film a clip real quick? And like, it's fun. Kind
of in the zone. Like, why not?
Sometimes just do it.
I mean, it's hard as well because, like you said, you know, you film a full part for the web and whatnot, but the further we go in time, man, we're not that far off from like full-length videos just not happening anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it went from 20 a year to 15 to 10, and now we're like maybe one a year. Like, what's coming out right now?
There's videos coming out. I think the DVD. And
what DVDs are coming out right now, though? I mean, Ride BMX is doing the one with Mastroni.
The Credence video just came out. Which I think those are sick. I love that whole crew.
Those guys do awesome stuff. Yeah.
Ride's doing a video.
Yep.
Someone else is working on it. Federal's working on a full length.
Okay, that's right.
There's people still doing it, and I think that's one of the coolest things for a brand to do is make a full video with their team because, you know, you put the DVD out or you sell it on the internet, and then eventually, you know, you can slowly put out your parts. It's like, it's a good thing to do, I think.
I completely agree.
Because it looks cool as like it's your family, it's your brand doing things together rather than, oh, we're this company. Like if I just had Christian go out and film everyone and we never did anything together, like it's like, what the fuck is that? Like those guys just pay a filmer to go film their dudes. Like they're not even hanging out ever. There's something about like getting in a van together and doing it together. Because I think the best video parts come from that. Like if it was just me and Christian going on a trip to San Francisco compared to like me, Nathan, and Corey, I'm going to be watching those guys do crazy stuff. And it's just going to motivate me and vice versa. Like when you're just by yourself with the filmer, like, I don't know, lots of
I guess you know,
lots of factors involved.
Playing the other side as well, because I agree with everything you just said. But you factor in writing that paycheck to get 7 dudes somewhere, renting a van, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, it's a quick way to spend a shitload of money. Yeah, which is unfortunate because I agree with you that it is like the coolest thing to do.
Yeah, it's expensive, but you don't have to go. People just go. I kind of think like. Again, that like we're skaters mentality. Like we're doing the same thing as them, and it's like no, there's 10 times as many people doing it. There's 10 times as much money. Like BMX is to me the most badass sport ever. I love it with all my heart, but it's small. It's our little niche. You know, if you do it, you really love it. You don't walk around with your BMX bike to look cool. Like you buy a skateboard to put in your arm and penis push around because you think it's cool. Yeah, wear a Supreme hat. You're a skater. It's like BMX, you do it because you love it.
My dad was in London the other day, and it was cold, and he didn't have a jacket, so he was wearing some random jacket, and it was an Element jacket. Like, what the hell? That's just how big skateboarding is.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a lifestyle brand now. And BMX is like, we can't really, you know, like there's some companies like the Etnies video where you go out and you go to all these different countries, and there's some exceptions like Lacey, like this video part god who gets sent around to film a couple clips in different cities, you know, like there's some exceptions, but for the most part, it's like if you're going to make a BMX DVD, I think my opinion, the best way to do it is map out 4 or 5 trips, bring your dudes and say, that's it. We're only filming for a year, you know, like it might not be, you're not going to get but sometimes that's all it takes, you know, the right trips, the right timing, and you don't need 3 years, and you don't need $100,000.
The Colt guys and their new project.
Colt guys are making a video too,
and I think it's like a 6-month project.
I think it kind of is dragging on, but it was supposed to be that.
But I like that. But I think it's dragging on like maybe 1 or 2 extra months. But I like that because they're like they're not watching out their own clips.
It was like their first video. It was Talking Cheap.
Came out so fast,
and they filmed it in like no time. And those parts are like 2.5 minutes, and they're so good. It's just like 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes. That's totally fine. I like that, man. I like the epic videos, but. Man, this day and age, everyone's just so fast-tracked, and it's hard to sit down and watch an 1.5 hour long BMX video, no matter how good it is. I
break it up.
Yeah, no matter how good it is. Like
I like a 5-minute Dan Lacey video, and that's what I'm watching for the day. I'm probably gonna watch it 3 times. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But
or like Talk is Cheap. I've watched that video so many times because it's like 35 minutes long. You know, it's like, it's perfect. The
perfect
an hour and a half before you go ride, like you're unmotivated to ride. You've been sitting for an hour and a half, like 30 minutes of good sections. Like I love it. But to each his own though, because if an hour and a half long DVD comes out with all my favorite riders and every part's good, I'm going to be stoked. But it doesn't happen like that. It's usually like 4 good parts and I skip through 5.
There's 2 different genres of videos. There's let's watch this then go ride. Then there's all right, we're done riding. Let's get some beers and watch this. Yeah. You know, like that's the long one.
Sit on the couch and watch this long video, this epic video that came out.
And then go to the bar.
Yeah, I think that's more of a for people in our generation too, because kids are just flipping. They follow 500 people on their Instagram. They don't even have time to look up because they're trying to keep up on all that shit, you know?
Yeah. Do you still follow nobody on Instagram?
Nobody.
You really hate Instagram, don't you?
If I didn't have sponsors and have to, I would not have an Instagram.
I think that's pretty obvious.
I literally got talked into having it because sponsors were like, we could pay you more and we have more incentive to show the bosses like, look, blah, blah, blah. So I got Instagram super late.
It's accidentally something you kind of have to do.
Yeah. And no, it's come with a lot of shit. Like, random little deals and stuff I've got through it, and like Rockstar, I gotta post like 2 cans a month and they're happy. Like that's what they care about. It's like, fuck, if I didn't have an Instagram, I'd probably be getting paid like 1/4 of what I get paid from them. So like just having it and listening to it was Losi was the one like, dude, just get an Instagram. You believe me, you're gonna need it one day. And I was just like, fuck,
you're one of 2 people I'll listen to.
Yeah, exactly. But, and so I did it, and honestly, when I'm done with BMX, I'm going to shut that shit off. And that's it. But I do like it. I love watching people's videos. I always like, go on Garrett's page and see all the sick shit he's doing. And I have the market Instagram too. So I follow like all the big BMX sites and kind of can keep up on, it's like my BMX news feed, like all my favorite riders and the crew and like all the big sites. So I can kind of keep up on what's going on through that instead of having to go to each website. It's like if, Dig pops up on the market Instagram and, Jordan Goodwin just put out a new video, I go straight to the site and watch it. It just kind of helps me if I want to catch up on BMX instead of going to all the websites and scrolling through fucking like, games of bike and
like
shit.
Like Tinder for BMX. Like I'm going to swipe this way because I want to watch Jordan's new video.
Yeah. Or just keep scrolling.
yeah. Next.
Yeah. Just keep scrolling or swipe. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's some good technology right there. It's like everyone's, instead of the newspaper, you have Instagram.
I'm just curious
but I like living through my own eyes and just getting sucked in on your phone. I just always hated it.
And I wonder if that's a product of living in San Diego. There's so much good shit going on here versus like imagine living in that town in Oklahoma your dad came in. You'd probably live on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's places better than this.
Yeah.
So coming up in the next couple months, I know X Games qualifier. Are you only potentially riding park in this X Games?
I hope I'm riding street. They've invited... Because I've said no the last couple of years because I wasn't really riding as much street like that. But now I'm really feel like I'm back on it. Like really like riding that stuff. Like even just from filming this video part, I've been like, on the weekends, just always in the streets. And I feel like back in my street game. So they have like, I think 3 more invites. And
well, you won the street contest in France, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be worth something.
Yeah. Chad really won that. I don't know what the hell the judges were thinking. I love all the judges, but I just don't get how I won that. But anyways, it was prelims and then finals got rained out.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think maybe they were trying to like set up a show. Like I ride after Chad, so I have to like try crazier shit. But like I literally didn't even have time to practice. Fucked up on so much stuff. I did like all my basic stuff I know I could land just to get in finals. I was like, I qualified like 6th or 7th. And then it rained the next day and Matthias came over with the results and he was like, congratulations. I was like, for what? And he was like, you won. I was like, no way. But I guess the judges like my basic tricks.
Well, hopefully those basic tricks get you in X Games. Are you?
Yeah, I hope so. I really would like to ride that. No, I don't want to ride dirt after seeing last year's course. And
True.
It's cool. It's just seriously something I'm so not into right now. I like riding trails, and like if Dreamline came back around, I'd ride something like that.
Meaning
like
you're not into like the couple straight jumps, then a quarter pipe type of contest.
I just have my same tricks, and I know it could, if I did my best run, I could get maybe top 10. But it's just like...
And you don't care enough to go try and learn something new for it.
I'm taking out someone's spot, too, who really does that stuff, who has a resi. I haven't jumped into a foam pit or hit a resi in so long, you know?
It was kind of a bummer watching it last year, just seeing guys like Matt Cordova and even like Anthony Napolitan.
Even the good dudes who ride that stuff, it was 3 jumps. The second one was so shitty. It was like a push through and then a quarter pipe. Like, if it's going to be 3 jumps, just make 3 nice wooden box jumps and let these dudes go crazy. It's like, I don't get why... It was just so ass backwards to me. But it's cool though to bring dirt back, but that's like not really bringing dirt back.
It is, and obviously it breeds some amazing riding. I mean, the top guys did some amazing shit.
Yeah.
But it's a different type of contest.
Mountain biking is the new dirt.
Mountain biking's like pretty badass.
No,
like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why someone was like, "Oh, Fees has everything, but they just need to bring dirt back." I'm like, "There's dirt right there."
Well, and you look over there,
dope.
and it's like David Godziak and like Tim Brinjay and like these badass BMX guys are riding mountain bikes now. And I can't remember who was telling it to me.
It's the same thing too. I love BMX dirt, but BMX, I like watching trails. You know, like once the jumps get too big, like a BMX bike on those jumps just kind of looks like shit, I think.
Yeah.
And that's where mountain biking, like you get to these huge jumps, like Dreamline style jumps, and those bikes are bigger. You have way more, it's way comfortable. I've rode a mountain bike, like it feels better jumping big stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they've surpassed BMX tricks. Like they really have. Like they're doing the like the BMX runs over bigger jumps with like dudes like Emil Johansson and
is he the kid from Sweden?
I don't know where he's
like
from.
Like young dude on Red Bull?
Yeah, he's so
incredible.
good.
Yeah.
He does like triple truck to down whip.
Yeah.
Literally does that. And Brett Reeder, Nikolai.
Yeah, Nikolai's
you know, like
insane.
there's so many dudes over there that are so Simonuk, but Simonuk don't compete anymore.
Has he done forever?
A master.
Or is he
He's just taking a year
That's
off.
what I thought.
He might come back.
He might be the best bike rider in the world.
I will 100% agree with that. Like his skills, even though he doesn't really ride BMX too much, but just like converting it over to him on a mountain bike, because that's what he looks good on. Like he looks good on a BMX
I don't know,
bike
man.
too.
He looks good on everything.
You know he does.
He's
he reminds me of that dude Paul Thoen on a BMX bike. Like they almost look the same.
They do
like,
actually. It's funny.
Like, and that guy is so good, and he's sponsored for riding BMX. And then Simonuk's like damn near like looks just like that guy, and like damn.
I just love seeing Seminuk because usually when you see a mountain bike guy get on a BMX, they're just jumping a box jump sketchy. You're trying something, and he's like doing backwards manuals and hard 180s and shit. Like
he's so cool too. He's a good dude.
Is it important to you to try to do well in X Games?
Financially, it's nice.
Yeah,
yeah, but like as of like personally.
I mean, you've won them and you've done terribly in them.
That's
like
the thing, yeah. That's with like every contest with me. Like it's all the day. I'm such like a kind of like ride on my mood and ride on like, you know, I'm always like mood's always good, but like more like ride on my energy level. And sometimes, you know, I just wake up like, dude, I wouldn't even ride today.
Yeah.
And I'm
riding
riding
home right now.
and that's when I get 13th place. And then when I do good is the days where I'm like, yes, like I want to ride. Like I feel good. That's why so many contests I'll go to. I don't know if people know, but like I'll get invited to contests and go there, and there's been like probably like 5 or 6 times where or more where I wake up and don't ride finals or something.
Just not feeling it.
Just like, dude, I'm not riding today. Like I'm gonna get hurt. It's not worth it to me. Like I know the sponsors would like to see me ride, but I'd rather just not get hurt and go to the next one where I feel really good.
Yeah, it's a product of the environment. If you don't like the course and you're not feeling it, you shouldn't be out there.
Yeah,
it's dangerous. I mean, that people seem
or
to forget
injuries too. Like there's been a couple times. There's been 2 times at US Open where I qualified in first and then got hurt in practice or something. Like hurt my like just something, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to go ride like 60%. I hate that. Like if I'm gonna ride, I want to ride good, and it's just I'd rather not ride.
You know, one of the cool things about BMX, and it's something I've tried to communicate to some of the younger people. People don't really seem to get it. Where it's like, yo, man, the next one's real soon.
And people forget so fast, too.
Yeah.
It's like people just trip out like, oh, if I don't ride this, my career's over.
It's the end of the world.
It's like, dude, just go do good at the next one.
Literally, the next one of this contest is in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
for me, it's better to not ride sometimes and to ride like shit and be disappointed in myself, you know, because I like to ride. Riding all about me is feeling good and the fun of it.
Yeah.
And some of I've had some shitty times just not feeling good and feeling pressure and just riding like crap in front of my peers and, you know, people that like fans and stuff.
People you respect.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just a random stranger.
It's for everyone, not just me. Like I just don't want to look like shit in front of all these people that think I'm decent at riding.
Yeah, you kind of owe it to them to show up and do your best.
Like
don't
in
show
France,
up.
like, dude, you're gonna kill it. Like there's so much big transfers. Like, dude, I don't think and people are just like, flow around, you'll probably make finals even though you didn't practice. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do the shit that I like to do and that people like to watch me do. You know, like I don't want to just do really, really basic shit and try and squeeze in there.
I just think about like, imagine if you were going to see one of your favorite bands and the guys were there, but 2 of them were sick and the instruments got lost and they're borrowing instruments and it's raining.
And you heard them playing and you're like, wow, they suck live.
Like, wouldn't you rather than be like, hey guys, we're sitting this one out?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Then
get your refund.
Then think your favorite band and you're like, wow, they suck live. That's what you think.
Totally.
Like all these people in France that never see me ride, they'd be like, damn, Dennis sucks actually. I don't think I'm going to buy his frame next year.
Yeah. But, all right, final question. Who is your favorite rider of all time?
Josh Harrington.
Josh is a good answer.
Chris Doyle, Josh Harrington. They're tied.
Yeah, Doyle's probably mine.
Doyle, yeah.
I think
they're tied for me. They both like influenced my riding so much. Steve Woodward too, but he's like a brother. Like, but like as like to me he was like a brother and like a legend. Like Doyle and Harrington were like the pros.
How about this? Favorite rider under 6 feet tall?
That's funny. All my favorite riders all tall. Favorite rider. I mean, Garrett. That's just so cliche though. Who's like, you know, seeing all the shit he's done in real life throughout the years. Like Garrett is just, to me, Garrett is the most talented person on a bike. Like, I think like really if in opinion, like Brandon Simonuk and Garrett Reynolds are like for bicycle riders, those dudes have the most talent. Like if Garrett would have rode mountain bikes, he would be like Brandon Simonuk. And if Brandon Simonuk rode street, he'd probably be like Garrett, you know? Like those guys, when you like, they are so talented. Yeah, I'd say Garrett. It's just cliche and everyone says that. But
favorite bike rider 6 feet tall is Garrett Reynolds.
Yeah. Oh wait, over 6 feet or under?
No, under.
Oh, yeah,
over is Harrington.
Yeah, Harrington, Doyle, Steve Woodward.
Yeah, Steve Woodward's awesome. That's it. You good?
Yeah.
Satisfied?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say that's cool?
Nope.
Nice. All right, we can go to cool shit now.
Cool.
All right, that does it. Thank you for listening. Dennis hates social media, but you should follow him on Instagram anyways, at Dennis Enarson, no space. And until next week, remember, it doesn't count if you don't pull the rollback. Goodbye.